Hey guys, so a super impromptu video. Is desire always divine? Lessons from my new red romper. And this came through today as a sequence of following my intuition, a sequence of intuitive nudges that I listened to and followed. The first one was in my meditation this morning. It told me very clearly to go to this one cafe and to bring some books, some very specific books, and read. And then my intuition said, okay, it's time to get up and go home and take yourself out to a sacred site, one that's close by. So I said, okay, all right. I'm walking home and I passed by this shop and I was not in the mood to shop at all. And that's kind of one of those things for me. Maybe you can relate. It's not just like, oh, I'll go shopping. It's like, I've got to be in the mood for it. Maybe it comes once a month or something like that. But it was like, go into this shop. And at first I actually resisted the intuition. I was like, no, I just want to go home and go out to the sacred site. I was like, all right, I'll go in. And I went in and I picked up a few things and I didn't like them. So I returned them and said, okay, spirit, I'm doing my best here. And then as I was leaving, my eyes caught this romper, this red polka dot romper. I was like, wow, I want to try that. So I took 2 different sizes and tried them on, instantly fell in love and bought the romper. Intuition said, all right, wear this romper to the sacred site. So, okay. And as I'm biking along, because I'm on my little bike over there, I'm quite sweaty right now, it's quite hot. I like to go fast as well. And I noticed that the romper is attracting quite a lot of attention, especially from men. And I know that demographically I stand out in the Mexican culture. You know, I have fair hair, fair skin. It's very common, right, to attract attention. But then it kind of spiraled me into this revelation that started coming through around desire, because that's a word that I use a lot, and it's a word that I write about a lot. It's a word that I channel a lot. Dancing, sensuality, embodiment, eroticism, these all connotate within the realm of desire. However, there's some unpacking to be had around desire, and I don't think that all desire is divine. And I think this is something really important to come back to, because desire that is fully focused and centric in the lower centers is actually a trap. It's actually self-depreciating, and it's actually disempowering. Whereas desire with the intention to be a source of renewal of life is the desire that is sacred and divine. And I think that in this time right now where there's so much sacred, sensual awakening and activating and Shakti rising, that this is an important conversation to explore, because I can see it in men, but I can also see it in women, you know, in the human nature to attach to the lower frequencies of desire. So I had some examples coming through on my bike ride, and I was like, all right, spirit, give me the perfect spot to record this video. So we're in this little bushland, and let's see what comes through. I tried not to hold on too tight, but there were some really cool things that were coming through around this. And let's take, for example, right, so I'm wearing this red romper that I actually feel really great in, and I bought the romper, and there was desire behind buying that. There was a sense of desire, like, wow, I feel really good in this. I love the color. I love how it fits my body, and it puts me in a space of feeling more abundant, more connective, more feminine. It allows me to blossom in a certain way, which feels really good. So that's one type of desire, right? Now I can also identify with myself with another type of desire. I want to do that because that's going to get me that, right? I'm sure we can all relate in some way, shape, or form. Oh, I desire that so I get more of that, right? That's when it's downward pulling. There's nothing wrong with being in our lower chakras. There's nothing wrong with feeling a sexual desire, a sensual desire, a power desire. But if it's fully isolated in those centers without any intention, without any desire to move upward, to be something that's expressing outward to the collective, to something that is of service in a really soulful way, I believe that's when desire can become very degenerative and actually very harmful to self and others. Let me give you another example, right? Okay, chocolate cake. Again, this is something I can relate to being in both sides. I keep looking like I'm topless. I'm gonna pull this up a little. Tell me if you feel the difference between this, right? I desire a piece of chocolate cake because I'm feeling full and I'm with my girlfriends and we're in the celebratory mood and we just want to feed that, and it's like juicy and it's a celebration and it's a delight and it's a joy to something that is already so abundant and luscious. You could say that's healthy desire because there is an upward accelerating motion to it. Now tell me about this. Eating chocolate cake to the point of beyond satiation and like a hedonistic tendency. I want chocolate cake, I desire chocolate cake, so I'm gonna eat all the chocolate cake I can till I throw up. That is isolated in the lower chakras, in the lower centers, in the lower being, and there is no intention, there is no aspiration for that to move up and be something that is of a fruitful nature. So I think that this is what can happen with desire, and that reflection and revelation stemmed from some of the male attention I was attracting on my bike. And again, I noticed the different levels of desire. There were some that just, I could feel it, and this is leading me into another tangent for those of you who are finding this interesting. One of them was very lower center isolated, like just, there weren't too many, maybe it happened twice. A certain look in someone's eyes as I passed by on my bike, or a certain way, a certain tone of a cat call that came out of the car. It was like, oh, that's really densely isolated in the lower body. There's no intention of allowing this to be something that spurs ascension, spurs illumination. This is purely filling a void. And that's what it is with desire. That's what one of the things that was coming through. Desire to fill a void, I do not feel is divine desire. But desire to be a source of co-creation, desire to be a source of elevation and ascension in some way, shape, or form is divine. So there were some interactions I had that were really beautiful, actually with men and women. A certain smile, or maybe a gentle wink, or the tone was different. And that was beautiful. It was like a co-creative experience. There was a moment of connectivity through the sharing of a spark of desire. And it was equal. It was a collaboration. It was a co-creative experience. So yeah, I feel like this is really important, and I'm not sure why, but I knew I wanted to record it, and I knew it wanted to be recorded. So here I am sharing it. It was all flowing so much more smoothly in my intuition, but this video is gonna have to do. Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing to feel desire, and it's also important that desire is something that's serving our higher self. And to some extent, I think, when desire is isolated in the lower chakras, there's nothing wrong with that, but I do think it requires a high level of awareness. And that's something that can be practiced for sure, and that's something that I do practice, because sometimes I can get too up in my head and too up into the elevated states of consciousness. To actually allow my desire to focalize in my lower center sometimes is really healthy for me, but it's an intentional practice that I do in safe containers or with people that I really trust, or in like a kind of practice that really supports that. But I think it's really important that we look at where desire is coming from. I think desire, honestly, the big why behind this video is that desire, I personally believe, is a catalyst of life. It's the catalyst behind so many things that we do in our life. Our work, our relationships, sex, food, our pursuits, our creative hobbies. There's some desire, there's something that we want, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But is it totally focalized in filling a void? Is our desirous nature, regardless of what the actual thing is, regardless of if it's food, a relationship, a work, a project, or social media following, it's the desirous nature. Is that something that is trying to be an ends to a means to an end in and of itself? Or is it something that's wanting to blossom and bear fruit, to grow and expand you? For example, let's take a look at social media. If any of you are entrepreneurs, or if you're into the social media space, this is something I've seen in myself, and I've seen in many friends and in many clients. It's like, well, I want to grow my impact. I have a desire. Maybe those aren't the words, but that's what's beneath it. You can feel a desire because it's a very strong impetus. I want to have a bigger following. I want to have this impact. I want to do this, and this, and I wanted that, and I wanted that. It's like, okay, is that desire? Get really clear with yourself. Is that desire trying to fill a void of like, ooh, good, I want that because that's yummy? Or is it like, I am full in and of myself, and I desire this, and I trust that if it's supposed to be mine, it will be, and I'm going to enjoy and savor this moment, wherever I'm at. I hope that makes sense, guys. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on this, because it felt really powerful for me when it was coming through, like a really powerful insight into this nature of desire and the responsibility around desire, and noticing that all desire is not divine. All desire is not fucking divine. And in a lot of the blossoming, like, sacred sexuality communities, like, I try not to judge, because sure, if, when all's said and done, everything probably is divine, right? Because whatever, we're one and we're nothing and we're everything and whatever, all that stuff, right? But there is a certain level of morals and principles and integrity. And in a lot of like sacred sexuality things and like, you know, exploring and like desire, and your desire is beautiful. It's like, yes, but always come back to, is this filling a void in me? Is this trying to give me a sense of filling something up that's empty? Or is this something that's a co-creative blossoming, that's allowing for more expression, that's allowing for me to be a fuller self so that I can give and provide? Not that that's of the utmost importance, right? Because it's about an embodied service, but is this something that is blossoming through me? All right, I'm gonna leave you with this one last metaphor, because this is the one that it really hit me in the heart. And it's a nice way to kind of smoothly transition. Think of a flower, right? Let me just see if I can find a flower and get away from the road a little bit. I can't find a flower. And I can't get away from the road. But all right, look at this tree, right? Or let's imagine that there was a beautiful, rich pineapple growing from that tree, that palm. Now that pineapple is juicy, right? It's something to be desired. It's yummy and it's delicious and it's tangy. And its nature is delicious and desirous. Now, is that pineapple growing just to be delicious, or is it part of a greater ecosystem, right? Ooh, here we go, down the rabbit hole. Flowers are beautiful and they're so wonderful to smell and to look at, and they're erotic and they're romantic and they're sensual. However, they serve a purpose. The flower provides the pollen for the bees that provide certain other balancing for the ecosystems. Like desire is an ecosystem. However, if we're robbing desire as something to like feed us and fill us up, that's the same as the ravaging on the planet that's happening right now. And this is where, you know, the macro and the micro meet. It's like we are a reflection of nature. So how we treat our desire and how we connect to our desire as nature is a direct reflection of what's happening in nature. Nature's being raped for her goodness. And a lot of the time, and I can see these qualities in myself because it's part of humanity and the human consciousness, some of the darker parts of our psyche, we also ravage and rape our own natural desire and natural sensuality. And you see this all the time, and you know, a lot of sex trafficking that's happening and sex rings and all of these crazy things that are preying upon our innate desire and sensuality. So I think it's an important conversation for all of us to be having with ourselves and with each other, which is why I felt called to share it in this space, because sensuality, embodiment, eroticism, these are topics that I'm going to continue to be diving in more, because they've really been keys for me my whole life, and I think it'll be a continued part of my mission. But this conversation is a vital part of it, right? Because it can be so juicy. Desire, wear sexy clothes, dance, love yourself. And what is the intention? Is this just trying to fill something in you? And if enough people look at it or like it or approve of it, then you're going to be filled and that void is filled? Or is this an act of you tapping into your most natural state and seeing that you are part of a greater ecosystem and that there is this innate purity in desire? And also to be discerning with what types of desire you receive into your space and you don't. This has been really interesting for me, and I've started to cultivate more boundaries. So when I'm feeling, whether it's from a place or a person, desire that is very rooted in a physical void, trying to get filled, that has a sucking nature, I know how to put up energetic boundaries. I know how to hold my space with love. And when there's a desire that's fruitful and co-creative, I know how to be receptive and warm and to share back energy so that it can leave us both feeling uplifted in some way and enhance, which is the nature of desire, right? It desires to grow and expand and touch more souls so that we can experience the beauty of life. However, that's hard to do when it's fully rooted in the lower centers. It's about how do we bring it up? And I believe that a big part of that is intention, awareness, purpose, purity of heart, and knowing that you are a part of a greater ecosystem. Just like the flowers feed the bees, you know, we feed each other. It's just about, are we coming from good soil? Are we feeding it healthy fertilizer with our thoughts and our intentions and our needs? Wow, 15 minutes. All right, guys, I'm gonna head off to my sacred site. Me and my red romper. Woo-hoo. Lots of love to you all, and I'll see you on the next video.